2 games old.
Welcome to another episode of Courtside Coffee, the spot for highly caffeinated tennis conversation. I'm your host, Merlisa, and today let's talk about a hot-button issue, the upcoming Battle of the Sexes exhibition between Aryna Sabalenka, the world number one, and Nick Kyrgios, former Wimbledon finalist and ATP antagonist. Let's get one thing straight. This spectacle does women's tennis no favors. And here's why. Start with the reality behind the battle of the first Battle of the Sexes. The premise is outdated. Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs in 1973 meant something because women were fighting to be taken seriously in sports. Billie Jean's victory was more than a tennis result. It represented social progress. We had Roe v. Wade and women's rights passed during that time, Title IX. But now, let's fast forward to 2025 and pitting Sabalenka, the most dominant woman in the game, against Kyrgios, a physically stronger and more powerful male player, doesn't elevate women's tennis. It reduces the women's game to a sideshow, as if its worth is measured by how close the best woman can come to beating a mid-ranked man. We're talking about a part-time player who barely stays on the court these days. What is the battle? While the Battle of the Sexes draws publicity, it stirs up tired debates around equal pay, debates that ignore context. Women fight for equal pay at the Grand Slams, but men and women do not play the same format at most events. So people whine, hey, they play best of 5, men play best of 5, but that's only at the Grand Slams. Men contend best of 5 only at slams, while women play best of 3 everywhere, including Grand Slams, just like the men outside of the majors. Take Cincinnati, for instance. They both play best of 3, but the women make half of what the men make at that tournament. Reducing the pay debate to a question of physical strength is both simplistic and unfair to female athletes who battle for parity in promotion, prize money, and respect. So what are we really comparing? There's this notion that men's tennis is better because most men can out-hit most women. But tennis greatness isn't measured just by a serve, speed, or muscle. If John Isner played Steffi Graf, Isner would almost certainly win. Does that make him a better tennis player than Graf? One of the most dominant champions in the history of the sport? Of course not. No rational tennis fan or commentator would claim Isner is superior simply because he'd win a power contest. Take Simone Biles, arguably the greatest gymnast of our era. No one invites her to go head-to-head against a male gymnast to prove her worth. We celebrate her for what she's achieved against the best in her discipline. The same should be true in tennis. Nobody makes Ledecky competed against Michael Phelps to measure her greatness. She's measured on her own greatness. So why this hurts, not helps women's tennis? Women's tennis deserves respect on its own terms. When its top players are reduced to a novelty event, the implication is clear. Let's see how the women stack up when we take them out of their context and force them to battle overwhelming physical odds. That's not progress, that's regression. Rather than cue up tired Battle of the Sexes exhibitions, let's highlight what actually elevates women's tennis. Compelling rivalries, fierce competition, and athleticism that transcends gender stereotypes. If you watched the WTA finals, Sabalenka versus Rybakina, hey, that was a great match. Women's tennis isn't a sideshow, it's a main event every week of the year. Thanks for tuning in to Courtside Coffee. Let me know what you think about the Battle of the Sexes. Drop your thoughts on Courtside Coffee Substack, where you can get the latest tennis news, coffee culture, and the best of athleisure. Until next time, stay caffeinated and keep on brewing.